Welcome back to News Talk. From grades to discipline, information about your kids is supposed to be kept private by their school. But we found a local district with a leak. 7 on your side I-Team investigator Josie Sturman is here now to explain. This will raise questions for parents and for the kids themselves.
Absolutely. There are federal laws in place to make sure that student records are kept confidential. Nobody is supposed to see them. As a parent or a student, you're supposed to give access to these records. But we found them exposed completely open online, and it all started with a simple Google search, Bruce. We're talking about one kid who passed away about a month ago. He was killed, tragic circumstances. Kid from Prince George's County named Keyshawn Mason. He passed away, and in doing some reporting, one of our colleagues, Tom Rousey, actually found this person's records online, his confidential student records, along with the records for many other children. And in uncovering what was actually in this paperwork, we realized we needed to take it to the experts, because these records that are supposed to be kept private, the most important things about your students, their grades, their behavior assessments, things about whether or not they have specialized education plans, all of that was part of what we found online, and it was inside of a website that experts have told us it just should not have been on, and we want to hear from one of them right now.
Does it seem risky to use that?
It is, because you don't have the control over it that you have if you keep things in-house.
So basically, we found these records on a shared sort of blogging site. It's something that educators use nowadays to share records with their students or with their colleagues, but this was not secured, and as a result, these records are out, and it's going to be a big problem for Prince George's County.
We have all these tools, and they're wonderful when used as directed, and yet hardly a day goes by, it seems, when so I guess you've got the two issues that happen a lot: the inadvertent sharing of information and the malicious taking of information. We're all wired, we're all online. For the most part, it's a good thing, but it is a very double-edged sword, as you and your team found out.
And they want to use these tools. You know, we're in the technology age. This is how students function. They're used to using things on the internet. They like their tools, their homework, their work to be shared, collaborated on this way. So that's great. But the district should be using more secure tools if they're going to post confidential records. What experts have told us, the guy in that story basically policed federal law from the Department of Education for the better part of 20 years. When we took to him what we found, he said they should never be using a website like what they were using. And when you see our story on WJLA and WJLA.com, you'll find out basically what the district is going to have to do now moving forward, since we've seen these records.
Tonight, Monday night, at 11 on our sister station, ABC7, much more of the digging that you did will be available for people who watch, so we certainly encourage and invite people to take advantage of that. Before we go, last time you were here, we talked about, and frankly, Josie, you made a heck of a mess.
I did make a mess. That's what I do.
Crumb rubber, this material that some people think it has a lot of benefits in terms of athletic fields, cost, impact on the environment, etc. You, though, uncovered some concerns, and your story is starting to make waves out there in the world.
There's been, at this point now, national outcry for federal testing of this synthetic crumb rubber. Basically, we're talking about those little black pellets that end up in your kid's shoes, on the uniform. Following our report and other reports across the country, Senator Blumenthal from the state of Connecticut and one of his colleagues put out a letter asking the Consumer Product Safety Commission to do immediate federal testing. There's a study in the works in California. They say that's not enough. It has potential conflicts of interest. They want the feds to do this testing so they can rule it out. And in the meantime, Senator Blumenthal told us that any jurisdiction that's considering these fields should take a wait and see until they know for sure.
It's a health concern.
Absolutely.
That's the potential issue that has people nervous.
They're concerned that there could be a cancer link. There is a coach keeping track of cases so far, and that's part of what else Senator Blumenthal asked for. He wants the Centers for Disease Control to start tracking these cases, which right now are anecdotal. He wants to see them as firm numbers and to know whether or not there is a potential cancer risk. They want those numbers, and they want the feds to be in charge of the project, not leaving it to a coach.
ABC7 investigator Josie Sturman, thanks very much. We'll see you tonight at 11.
Yeah.
We appreciate seeing you here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Back with a program note after this.